Good afternoon once again. My name is Dayo Omoogun, and I'm glad to be here once again for the Polity, coming to you live from the Abuja studio of KAFTAN television. And this afternoon, as usual, we'll take on one of the trending issues, and I know that as we take on this issue, there'll be a whole lot of light, and would all be the better for it. And today, this afternoon, I have with me in the studio Cosmas Uzodinma. He used to be the Chief Press Secretary to the FCT Minister just a few years down the line, just a few years ago. Today, he still contributes a whole lot to nation building, and one of the ways is by public affairs analysis. And you can trust him to do justice in terms of objectivity, to do justice in terms of facts, and to do justice in terms of situating Nigeria in the center of things. And you can be sure you're talking about a patriotic Nigerian who wants the very best for Nigeria, who is a Nigerian to the core in terms of even his marriage and all that. I hope that we can talk about that sometime.
Yeah.
Now, so please welcome. I welcome you, Cosmas Uzodinma, once again. This is your second time here.
Yes. So thank you,
right,
Dayo, and my very valued audience. Is once again a good opportunity to be with you. Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. Now, quickly, we're talking today again about the return of Trump. I know you to be a very avid supporter. I mean, a die-hard supporter of Trump. Not just now, but even in his first outing. I followed you, followed your social media, followed you on Facebook, and I see your contributions and all that. And even in private discussions, you are totally unabashed about it. You're totally forthright with your opinion of Trump, positive opinions. Why is this so?
Well, you know, in the first instance, I have a Republican persuasion.
All right.
I have a conservative persuasion, and I believe that any person that's a conservative flag bearer, the person has my support.
First of all,
in all my writings, including people like Kemi Badenoch.
All right.
She's a leader of the Conservative Party.
Right.
And I'm an avid supporter of her. And Meloni, the lady in Italy. These are people I like their outlook to life. I like the Republican outlook to life. But more so, Trump, you know, is somebody, a man I believe that is a man of sterner stuff. So he's a man of courage. Is a man of boldness, is a man of who says it the way it is. He doesn't mince words. Yes. Thank you. So
these are the reasons why. But this is the same Trump that's been described in some other negative terms. There have been issues with his financial dealings. There have been issues with his relationship with the opposite sex and all that. And even though that's not where we want to major on, how do you balance these?
Yes. You know, it's funny. It pains me when the world, you know, leave Clinton, that turned the White House into a motel. Trump did not do that. Whatever Trump did, he did it in his own privacy as a businessman, maybe in his own house. But we can't talk about a man like Clinton. And yet Clinton is like a god in the Democratic Party. And look at the Jeffrey Epstein's case, where they went in there and it became a slaughterhouse for underage girls. And Clinton's portrait was hanging there, dressed in the picture of a girl. Nobody's talking about the Jeffrey Epstein's tape, which a lot of them were Democrats and other big men in America. Nobody's talking about that, simply because Trump is not there. When we talk about sexual immorality, and he's been there. You know, great men, it has been their pitfall. And so, before you know it, and they're simply unnecessarily exaggerating, Trump's, foibles. But then, a lot of these things are said, too much is said with too little evidence. And you talk about business deals. You see, I love the question that the judge asked Letitia James. You see, where in the history of the United States of legal jurisprudence has there been a man who you are saying has illegal dealing in his fundings, and he took loans from people? The bank is not angry, the people those are not angry, and then you are the one who went on fishing and trying to bring, and you bring the so-called owners of those loans. Say, look, we're okay. So who is the one that was hurt in this issue? Nobody suffered any loss in it, simply because one woman, when she was at the point she was even running an election, she vowed she was going to get Trump. Under normal circumstances, Letitia James is the villain in this issue. And if the United States of America, in fact, thank God that Trump has won. Otherwise, it would have brought down the reputation of the United States of America.
You think so?
Yes. How could you go on a fishing? Nobody goes on a fishing. You are sitting down here. I'll look at you. I say, I'll get you. Then I'll start going to your house and start searching your house.
For all kinds of things.
For all kinds of things. It's not done.
All right. Now, you would find, as we go along, or maybe let's do this now. Yeah. You found out that when these elections were concluded and Trump had the day, a few hours or a few days, 1 or 2 days later, Kamala Harris came up with her concession statement, right? And she did say, part of what she said in that statement was that one of the beauties of American democracy is that when elections are won and lost, or lost, we accept. I guess those are words that were well trained on a particular person, and I guess that person is still Trump, because when he says we accept, I guess he was trying to wake up the 2020 election issue, where Trump had some misgivings, wasn't quite comfortable with the outcome, and sort of incited mobs to action. So how do you see that part of Trump and that same person now having his way, and the other party not raising hell? I mean, how do you put them together? Yeah,
that election.
Which one are we talking about? 2020?
Yes, the 2020 election.
Yeah.
It was a complete mess.
Oh, is that your assessment?
Yes. Number one, the Democrats took advantage of the Lloyd. What's that man's name again? Lloyd. The gentleman that was killed in that city?
Okay. Yeah. The guy who got killed.
Yeah, who was killed. They took advantage of that, his case. This is a man that was killed, that died in a Democrat city, in a Democrat state, by a Democrat police. But because of the huge, massive support of the media, they spun it around just because of a single statement that Trump made. He said, look, when people start rioting tomorrow, the shooting begins. Oh, it became that it was Trump, as if it was Trump.
Okay, who
killed the man? And these mobs, Black Lives Matter, so-called Antifa, they filled the street, and many people died. And I want to tell you that Kamala Harris raised money, and was bringing out a lot of those that were arrested. And then
at that time,
yes, everybody has forgotten that. And that's why the mayhem was worse than what the so-called January 6th, which they started calling insurrection. You know what an insurrectionist?
In your opinion,
yes,
the barging into parliament, that's not an insurrection for you?
No, it's not an insurrection. It's a riot.
Including barging into the hallowed chambers of...
That is not an insurrection. That is riot. When there are riots on the streets and things happen, it's not an insurrection, because you cannot... if you're insurrection, maybe you want to intent on overthrowing the government. They wanted their views known. They wanted to make their views, and then usually there will always be people, and there's even there's a suspicion that there were some agent provocateurs who were embedded inside that group, who now went and took the whole thing and took the laws into their hands
and took it to
it happens in Nigeria. Sometimes I live in Apo. And that I remember a time during the NSAS riot.
Right.
The theater was... They said,
hugely there.
Yes.
Yeah.
What has Apu got to do with NSAS? It's deliberate. These things are the art of governance. Most of... sometimes the security agents who are pro the regime, embed people inside the rioters. And those people go and cause mayhem. And then you smear the person you want to smear with it. And the media will now have a talking point, and they will run with it.
So you find a way to call the dog a bad name in order to hang it.
So that was it. And so a number of things happened, but it wasn't an insurrection. And Trump keeps saying that go in there patriotically and make your point known. It's there. It was written. And then there was... No, I want to go. I want to go back and look at the number of total vote tally. I'm beginning to think it's happening like the total votes cast in an election that was that had COVID. It's like it's bigger than the total votes cast now,
where everybody is free.
Where everybody was free. So it would tell something was wrong.
No, haven't we been fed over time that the American polls is near perfect?
Well, that poll told us that it is not perfect.
Which one of them? The 2020?
The 2020 told us that Americans also can do the thing that third world people do.
But that's what some people are saying, even of this particular one that threw up Trump.
It can be.
It can be?
It can. You see, what happened is that somebody was saying, how could Trump, that was in power then
and lost to
how could he be done? They will rig him, but they don't know that Trump represented the people, but the so-called swamp, the neocons, that is the establishment Republicans.
Yes,
they hate Trump with the entirety of the Republicans. So if the American political oligarchy is divided into four, only one quarter was with Trump. Half of Republicans were anti-Trump, and the whole of Democrats were anti-Trump. And these are the powers that be. And Trump is an outsider. So they had laid the foundations. They know what they can do to root this man out. And that is what they did
in 2020.
In 2020.
So, what's the picture now? Give us a picture, the way you have just analyzed.
Yes.
So, are you saying that now the Republican Party became one full house in support of Trump?
Good. They didn't become one full house. Because you could see what happened to Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney openly, who is the leader of the neocons. The Bush family, the Jeb Bush family, the Mitt Romney, who ran one of the worst elections in American history, Mitt Romney, and people like this McCain's family, all of them. These are the oligarchy of the Republican Party. They were not with Trump,
and yet he won.
And yet he won because he was able this time. He knew their game. That was why during his campaign he was saying, do this. First and foremost, they blocked those areas, and then they made sure can you imagine all those loopholes where they could have used to rig, he blocked them. And thank God for men like Elon Musk. Remember, Elon Musk immediately went and bought up Twitter.
Okay, so that's part of the strategy.
Yeah, he bought up Twitter because you could imagine the election was on, and you were blocking a candidate. He will say something in Facebook, you block him out from Facebook. He will say something on Twitter, you cancel him on Twitter. Every place he was no longer there. And so Elon Musk said, no, I know this people's trick. He went in, that's the power of money. He bought up all these things. And and to think about it, he dethroned George, Soros. These are the kind of the billionaires of the Democratic Party led by George Soros, who's old now. Today, Elon Musk. In fact, I can say that the best Republican is a runaway Democrat. Because Trump was a Democrat, Elon Musk was a Democrat. Most of the people who ran this election were Democrats. Right. Because they are Russians.
So they understand the game.
They understand the game.
Okay.
And they were able to thwart the Democrats in their tracks.
All right.
Yes.
I see you are very excited about the victory of Trump. So so here we are. He's the winner, and he will be sworn in in a bit.
The winning. He won the presidency. He won the popular vote. He won the Senate.
Yeah.
And this morning, the House of the Congress has been declared, and they won it.
So it was a real the kind of thing you call it a landslide.
In America, we call it trifecta.
Trifecta.
Yes, trifecta.
That is the three
arms of government. He won it, and remember, he had already laid the foundation for Republican control of the Supreme Court of Scopus.
So everything, it looks like everything is in his hands, as it were, right now.
Sure.
Okay, so we cannot, what it will mean then is that he's likely to have little or no opposition.
At all.
Good. That's good. So whatever happens within these 4 years, he will have no excuses to give.
Yeah.
Right, good. So let me congratulate you. You have Trump in the White House. Yeah.
Insofar as what people who have been asking me, what do you gain? What I gain is because whatever happens in America has a massive impact in Nigeria. Morality, values, and all the rest of
all that.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. So let's go on now and look at what exactly do you think will be the aftermath? What are we looking at a new world order in the birthing?
Yes, there's a new world order in the birthing. Number one, we're going to see, because what has been happening was that the world was unhinged. There was a moral unhinging of the world, where your child will wake up in the morning, where a country, a nation that does not allow a child that is under 18 years to participate
in
election, now says a child that is under age, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, to any year, can go to school, go to his teacher and tell the teacher, I feel like a boy caged in a woman's frame. So the teacher will jack the child to a doctor, and the doctor will perform a gender transfer on that baby, on the child. That a child can make a decision
as to his
gender, fundamentally alter his gender, even when he's not 18 years. Meanwhile, the same child cannot vote,
cannot take several other decisions that are limited by
even the management of his wealth. I remember the case of Simone Biles, who was an Olympiad, who when she won the money, it was like, you cannot.
It will be managed on her behalf.
It's your father that will manage the money on your behalf.
Yeah.
Then you cannot allow the child. You cannot see a boy who cannot play football well amongst the boys, who is a low ranger in football amongst the boys, can now say, okay, what I'm going to do now is to change my sex and go and start playing among girls, and then become the footballer of the and win the footballer of the year award.
the kind of fiasco, but if you allow me, that happened when somebody who presents as a woman won an award recently in Nigeria as the best dressed. You remember that episode? Best dressed woman among real women. I mean, it's funny.
So, and this is a party that said they are pro-women. It's a party that is allowing men to compete in women's sports and rob women of the glory of the flowers due them. You know, in Nigeria we say, no be juju be that.
No be juju be that.
No juju now. You know, it's you can't understand. You can't wrap your heads around it. You know.
So at least
so that they move in value, change in value. Then the economy. You can see the bulls are on the run in America now. I mean the security market is so charged.
Exactly, everything is.
They say more than a year now is hitting the roof. Why? Because a government that is pro-government is in the sheriff that's pro-government. It's in town. You know, and look at then immigration. Yes, I understand Nigeria's emotions towards immigration, but for God's sake, we ran away from Nigeria because of the way Nigeria was going, because of the lawlessness in Nigeria. And we go to America, and we want America to embrace the same lawlessness that we are running away from in Nigeria. It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up.
Because you see, I think that there's a general groundswell of, if you like, would you say, opposition to his candidacy and to his victory from Nigeria and Africa. And this is the premise we just talked about.
Yeah, simple. Well, you know, what are we going to do? But they forget that the Obama administration was so mean on Nigeria. Obama administration refused to sell Nigeria the arms we needed to prosecute the anti-terrorism war. Obama administration, at the very critical moment in the administration of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, suspended American purchase of Nigerian oil, and the economy was set on a tailspin. Obama administration interfered in the Nigerian election.
Yes, it did.
By sending Axelrod, his consultant, to come and help the Buhari administration. So these things are
that's
very
his communications man,
Axelrod. David Axelrod or somebody like that. He did all those things. Obama is not the president of Nigeria. Obama, in his own narcissism, did a broadcast for Nigeria. Why? Who is he? Why would he talk to us? In Harvard, we have more brilliant students in Harvard than him. So it's because he's the president of the United States, he came to give it, Nigeria must do election, there must be free and fair election. So who told him that? We have enough people to tell us that. And in other, Obama, you see, at the when Libya, Muammar Gaddafi was in retreat, Obama manipulated the war that brought, that killed
Muammar Gaddafi and brought Libya to its knees still now.
Brought his knees, and then what happened? These boys invaded the armory, and what happened? Because the strong man who held that place tight has been killed. Insecurity in the Maghreb, in the Africa south of Sahara, unraveled. But non-state actors had access to guns,
to arms,
and that is what we are suffering till today. It's Obama that caused it.
No, I think that for majority of Nigerians, they hardly have this thoroughness to look at these issues with the way you have presented them. A whole lot of people are very emotive, are very emotion driven.
Obama's brother, one man called Malik, wrote a book. He said, "My brother is cold-hearted and ruthless." Malik, Kenya. His book is there.
Yeah, but I mean, the example of Libya, for example, should serve as a warning that no, everything that looks like gold is not gold, like they say. All that glitters is not gold. And unfortunately, I think there were people who are easily drawn by little things, while the things that really matter, we gloss over them. I think that's the situation of Nigeria and Africa.
The former Permanent Secretary in Foreign Affairs, I was in a place, there was a book launch, and he made a statement. He said, we should start telling our own stories. Nigerians need to be delivered from the CNN effect. Yes, he made that statement. I was there was a book launch in Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I was the master of ceremony in that event. He was saying that he's putting together some books. One of the things he's trying to make Nigerians able to tell their own story, to deliver Nigeria from the CNN effect. Nigerians don't have rich opinion. We are wishy-washy because everybody listen to CNN and comes out and become parrots of CNN.
Just regurgitate.
That's the word. Regurgitate what they've gotten from CNN. You think the person who's talking to you has thoroughly analyzed what he's talking about. He's only just telling you what he listened to CNN yesterday. You know it's wrong. Say CNN, all these things.
So does that mean that are you presenting CNN as biased? Or was that the presentation of Omoogun?
Initially, as a media man, when we were in school, we were taught that media is fair.
Yeah.
Must be objective. But I'm surprised that America has led the march to the collapse of the media as an agency of integrity. And thank God, God knew that this thing was going to happen, and God brought in social media. So this election is about the collapse of the traditional media. Heralds the final collapse of the traditional media. People didn't listen to them. People are listening to people like Carlson. People are listening to Tucker Carlson. People are listening to Megyn Kelly. People are listening to Candace Owen. These talk show people. And that was why Barron told his father, look, go to these bloggers, and this is where you should present your case. And when Trump went into those places, the so-called Gen Zs listened to him. And that was a whitewash of the Democratic Party.
So that's a thumbs up for the new media then?
Yes, the new media is it. So any person you will avoid, you will abandon the new media at your own risk.
Now,
yes.
Yes, because you can get the same information that we used to wait on the traditional media to give. Yes. You can get it straight away from the new media, and you can get, competing. You can easily put your finger. You can put your finger on who is the one with the integrity.
Exactly.
Among the two. Yes. I think you have a point there, which is a warning even to the traditional media that they must sit up and do the right thing.
Yes, otherwise, so listenership has collapsed.
Yeah, but again, that's not entirely some victory, quote unquote, for the new media, because we also know that because they are not, most people handling those media are not professionals. There are a whole lot of dirt, a whole lot of impurities, if you like, a whole lot of sludge that goes with the kind of things that are put on the social media. You and I know that.
Yeah, you say that. It's good to say that. For us who believe in the traditional media, we can say that. But how can you see, it's not what we say that matters. What's important is you told the world that the race was going to be narrow.
And now
it's a whitewash. So will they believe you? So if you say you are the one that knows what is right, you are the one that is fair, you are the one that is a professional, but look at the predictions, the CNN poll, Fox poll, MSNBC poll, and all the polling agencies.
Yeah, I guess you're going on the lane now, where we say in Christendom that the test of a prophet is the fulfillment of his
prophecy.
All right. So now we have Trump right now, the 47th president of the United States of America, and you just mentioned a few areas where you think that you'll be making some very clear difference.
Yes.
And there are these issues about LGBTQ. There are issues of abortion and all that stuff. And some people say these are private matters that should not be
state policy.
That should not be state policy. Yeah. Now, so if we get into that, who actually is guilty? Is it the Democratic Party? Is it the Republican Party? Is it Trump?
I think the Democratic Party.
Was the Democratic Party not just affirming what was already the rights of the people, what they believed in, what they wanted to do?
You see, what the issue is, the Supreme Court has a responsibility to adjudicate on matters that are in the Constitution. The entire Constitution of the United States of America, according to the Supreme Court ruling, does not mention abortion as a fundamental right. Even if you go to the French Revolution, they put the right of mankind, the right of humanity, and that America copied it. Rights, fundamental human. You've read government. Yes. Any place they say the right to abortion is a fundamental human right.
Except that the right to life. In fact,
what is there is the right to life,
exactly,
liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But the Democrats tell you the issue now: when does life begin?
Yeah, that's the tenuous.
Why the Republicans say life begins at womb? But scientifically, it was proven that the baby in the womb before the first 15 weeks cannot feel pain. So cannot be said to have life. But I've discovered that science has shown that from the 20th month,
20th week,
you take a needle and prick
the mother,
the womb, that the baby in the womb will run, will shrink. So at that point in time, pain has come, life has come. So even in some Republican states, they say, okay, there's a bar. After 21 weeks, you can no longer abort. You should, if it's a madman that impregnated the person, she should have known by now.
Exactly.
If it is incest, incest, you should have known in 20-something weeks. I mean, about 3 months or 4 months. You should, if you don't have your menses, you should know.
Yeah.
And not when the baby. In fact, there was the issue of partial birth abortion, which is another thing that Obama did while he was the chairman of the Senate committee in Illinois. He was a chairman, and when they voted, that was partial birth abortion, that you can also kill a baby when the baby is born within 1 hour or 2 after the baby is born, and you will try to abort the baby and you are not able to abort the baby.
And then now that the baby has arrived,
as the baby comes out, you can squeeze it. You can squeeze the baby. You understand? And you'll be correct. So when they voted, it was like 3-3 or 4-4. And Obama was the chairman. Obama gave the casting vote that passed that law of partial birth abortion. Wow. That was one of the things that bought him the ticket of the presidential candidacy. They said, this is a thorough Democrat. So they felt that, okay, good, let's make him, so that let's get a black person to be president this time. Let's get somebody who's going to be kind of friendlier to the Saudi, to the Arab world, who has a similar name. Let's get him, so that by the time he comes in, he will now enable us bring back the Arab money, which has gone out because of Bush's anti-Arab policy after 9/11. That is the reason Obama came. And that's when Obama came. He ignored Nigeria, ignored us when he was going to Egypt and going to Ghana. And when he went to Kenya, he didn't even bring anything to Kenya. He simply went to Kenya to preach abortion. After talking, they told one journalist to ask a question. Then he asked Kenyatta, what are people doing about gay in this area? I said, come on, that's not our business here. We are hungry. We're talking about food. It's when we have eaten food.
That's when you begin to think about.
We're not trying to think about gay. That's not a say. It's a get off here. In front of Obama, he told him that.
So when you say Obama ignored Africa, ignored Nigeria,
Yes.
how did Trump fare better on that level in his first outing?
Well, you know what's important is you say if he didn't say he's our brother, but Obama said he's my brother,
and yet
he didn't come.
Okay, so that's where you make the distinction. Yeah, but because as far as I'm concerned, both of them didn't really care whether Nigeria existed or not.
Yes.
Yeah, but again, as far as I'm concerned, again, I think that sometimes we elevate very trivial issues and make a whole because a personal visit of
number one. Trump invited the Chibok girls in America to White House.
Right, yeah.
Had a meeting with them, welcomed them. Number two, Trump released those arms. Immediately he took over power. Within 2 or 3 months, he instructed that the arms that Nigeria ordered should be sold to us.
Yeah, it depends on where you stand in some of these matters, really, because you could also go a little bit backwards and say that exactly. You could talk about that, and you could also go back a little bit in history and say even Barack Obama's wife, what's her name now, also stood by Michelle, also stood by us when we had the issue of exactly, bring back our girls and all that.
That standing back by us was to apply pressure on Goodluck.
Whatever it is, whatever it is on the international level.
How can you stand by us and you didn't give us money to rescue them? You didn't give us arms to rescue them.
Well, I do remember that there were all kinds of issues attached to it, but we're not holding breath for anyone here. So quickly, now that you have a Trump, are we saying that there'll be zero incidents of LGBTQs?
No. You see, right from the beginning, right from the word go, even when we're in secondary school, LGBTQ has been there.
Right.
Since the world began, gay, nobody bothers you on this. But where the problem of gay came in, it's when we're now shoving it into the truth,
into the faces of
people. Like now, maybe I'm a good MC, and a gay man is wedding. They say, Cosmas, you be our master of ceremony,
and you cannot choose not to.
I say no, I cannot do that. Then they will take me to court, and when they take me to court, then the United States will ban me from ever emceeing a federal government event. This is what is wrong.
Yeah.
You see, but the way they spin that the Democrats give this thing is like everybody want gay people to die. Nobody wants the gay to die. They're everywhere. In the north, they are called. There's something.
Yes. Yeah.
Everywhere they have been there since the world began. There has been gay. But what we are saying, for God's sake, be where you are. Let me have my freedom of conscience to be able to believe what I believe. You can't say I should not believe what I believe, and you cannot match my tongue. I say I should lack that freedom of expression.
And come to think of it, when you look at the fact that America was built on the foundation of the evangelicals, it's funny how the deviation from those original tenets and then an elevation of some of contrariness is played out. So for many people across the world, it's good news. But of course, every coin has two sides to it. Yeah, so there will be persons who are totally not excited by this development.
Yeah.
Now, let's go a little bit further. Now, we have a situation where Ukraine, Russia is on one hand. You have Israel and these other the Hamas and that entire region, Iran and all that. Do you see the emergence of Trump making a difference in terms of maybe bringing about peace in those two cases?
I think there will be a greater motion towards peace and towards resolution, because peace really comes through strength. because the war in Ukraine is as a result of the mismanagement of international treaties and agreements. Because there was a treaty when communism was disintegrating. There was an agreement that please let the former Soviet Union people be. But which NATO, like they came in, they started fishing, started going to quarry those people. Look, all over the world, there are nations that there have been agreement that they should be left to be neutral. Like Switzerland is a neutral country. Belgium, because those places were centers where there was always struggle. You see, Germany was struggling for a bit of that land. France was struggling for a bit of that land. And the Netherlands was struggling for a bit of that land. And it was causing crisis. It's okay. They marked it out and called it Belgium. So let's let it to be an independent nation. And nobody, it will be neutral.
All right.
Switzerland, the same thing. Switzerland is France, Germany, okay. Let's put an island that will create a buffer zone between the belligerent nations. They make them neutral. That has been a standard practice in international affairs. If you see this area is likely to come, okay, you guys should exist, but you should neither join NATO nor join the Warsaw Pact. But when that finished, Biden entered. Just because, I don't know what was the issue there with him, maybe private interest and other things like that, he entered. And that's what brought about that war. Stiglitz, who is one of the top economists, he's crying. Just Google Stiglitz. He said, this is not what was agreed. He said, Nobel Prize economists. He said, this is not the agreement. These people were wrong. Let's stop it. But they refused. And Trump's...
Let's stop who now? Stop Ukraine?
Let us stop America. Let's stop this war. Let European Union stop fishing in those regions. Let's let them stop it. They said no. You must be European Union. You must join NATO. You must join this. You must join that. I said, this people said, look, this thing is, if Ukraine joins this people now, is it mean the likelihood of these people putting their arsenals in our border?
Yeah, that's it. And nobody is going to agree to that kind of thing. Who understands?
Nobody who understands international strategic studies.
Yeah.
Will allow that.
I want safety for their own citizens.
And this is what Trump has been saying ever since. Trump is saying, look, America first. Let us concentrate on our own troubles and leave other countries of the world to handle their own troubles.
Well, maybe we'll come to that after this very brief break, so we can at least have a breather.
It's okay.
We'll come to that.
Yes.
While wrapping up the day, unwind with the reminiscence of the day's news from home and abroad with KAFTANTV 7 p.m. news.
Good to have you join us on KAFTAN News at 7.
Nigerians are living in up to 5%. Our young people, we propose the Harmony Symphony.
It's good to have you join us on KAFTANTV News at 7.
What we found that the 10 naira pack is not actually sufficient.
National, foreign news headlines. Get balanced, accurate facts on the latest news in business, politics, entertainment, sports, and more. Live from our studios.
Many thanks for watching and join us again at 9 p.m.
KAFTANTV News.
Welcome back. It's still the Polity coming to you from the Abuja studios of KAFTAN Television. And my name still remains Dayo Omoogun. And with me in the studio, I have Cosmas, Uzodinma, and together we've been looking at the return of Donald Trump and what it signifies, what it signals for the world. The next 4 years under the leadership of Donald Trump. What exactly does it signify? Are we looking at a new world order, and in what areas? In what are the dimensions? What are the peculiarities that we are likely to see? And that's what we've been talking about, and I hope that you are remaining there. Stay focused, stay tuned to KAFTAN Television. Tell somebody about it. Tell them that KAFTAN Television is where it's happening right now. You're not on KAFTAN TV, you're not anywhere. Now, so I hope you believe that.
Oh, of course. It's a place to go.
Exactly.
It's a go-to television
right now.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Talk about structure, talk about infrastructure, talk about everything. I mean, you have it here. Now, so let's quickly go to, just before we went on break, you were talking about America concentrating on itself.
Yeah.
And that's the slogan, Trump's slogan during the electioneering. I mean, America first. Yes. First, in his first outing, it was "Make America Great Again." Yeah. But right now, he has said "America first."
Yes.
Now, America first is like, for me and for millions out there around the world, is like a big blessed brother who thinks who thinks like a subsistent person. He wants to, and that is generally described as stinginess. That is generally not good for building the family, and in this case, by extrapolation, the world. And that will mean that the giant is just catering to his own needs, and he doesn't care whether every other person perishes. Is that not it?
Yeah, well, it's not totally so. Let's look at the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which NATO, which America, is the leading country in. They made it was like there was a rule that every country has to bring a percentage of its budget into the NATO. But you notice that many of these countries, they're not bringing 50%, 20%. They're not bringing the 50% what's expected of them. So America was left to shoulder the entire, almost 80% of the burden of funding and arming the NATO. Now that up to a point, it was the American soldiers under the aegis of NATO were in Germany. People like Trump were now asking, for what reason is America maintaining a military base in Germany? When is the major funder? And the major funder, and Germany is a good boy now. There's no more Hitler. So even the so-called Berlin Wall collapse. Eastern Germany is over, has wiped out. There's German reunification. And they are a civilized country in the Committee of Nations, and yet America was spending huge money to maintain the military security to offset the security bill of Germany. So we don't need that. Let's ask our soldiers to come home. That's the meaning of America first. Let's ask every country must pay their dues. For God's sake, it's a rule. Why would you make a rule that you don't intend to keep? Then number 3, most of the so-called aids that is given to you, where is it? The people chop it. The first-class citizens of the country, they eat it. Since you were born, what American aid has affected your life? Well, maybe I've not given it some attention. Because it doesn't exist. They don't know. No, but there are millions of dollars being pumped across Africa, across the world, from U.S. aid. Okay, for instance, let's go into a place like Bill Gates, sponsoring GMO food and all the rest of them. Bill Gates come to Nigeria. I was in Kubwa when Bill Gates came to Kubwa. What kind of food was he bringing to us? A kind of corn that can last for one planting season alone. Why didn't Bill Gates come to Africa, pick our corn? How could you not replant your corn?
I don't understand that.
Yes, most of the GMO corns.
Yeah.
You know, it was like if you read the book on the Confessions of the Economic Hitman, people come with the intention that they are doing good thing to you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Meanwhile, all they are trying to do is to advance American imperialism.
True. Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. That's how what this guy wrote about how Europe underdeveloped Africa.
Now, the kind of corn they were bringing was a kind of corn that if you reap that corn, you can only eat that corn. If next planting season come, you can't plant it.
If you put it, it will not germinate.
Yes. That is why nations, even a lot of European countries, have refused GMO, genetically modified organic foods, something like organs, GM food. So these are the things. So it was like an economic espionage to destroy, and before you know it, we will abandon our natural corn.
And then have to totally wait on.
And then, so we have to totally wait on. And when the time comes and they ask you to do this, and Obama will come, who will say, if you do not do this, we are no longer going to supply your farmers corn to plant this season. And hunger will finish people. Both Yam and all the rest of them, he came and was doing all those research. I said, what's his name? Bill Gates. If you love Nigeria, do you know that Bill Gates' computer, there's no maintenance place in the whole country? If you see this Surface Pro that belongs to him, is the worst computer.
No, I think we shouldn't do that before it looks like demarketing. Yeah. So
most of these things they're doing is there. You know. So let him make us sell the technology to us. Let him sell us the technology. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Give us the technology to be able to do these things.
And decide for ourselves what we want.
What exactly we want. I'm not talking about food. When we need high tech, I've not seen where they'll give us the low level technology so we can sell marketing. So
in a nutshell, you're saying that the whole idea about American aid is it's like a smoke screen, like it's not getting to
entrenched American hegemony. And then most of the aids, the aids don't trickle down to
the people who need them.
In corrupt countries, the leadership, it disappears on top.
If it's designed to entrench American hegemony,
yes.
Now why won't the American leadership be interested in maintaining such a hegemony?
Yeah, because if you're
I'm talking about Trump now.
It makes us that money moves to them,
but they lose influence,
and they will lose influence at home.
They lose influence abroad.
Yes, but at the end of the day, you know, there have been a lot of. Okay, let me give you a perfect example. They are beginning to see what happened in Chad and the Mahreb now. Is it Chad and Niger?
Yeah,
who are pulled out for OAU.
Yes.
What was the pulling out from? From France. What America says they are doing for us is what France thinks they are doing for
those countries.
It's okay to make the example very clear.
Yeah.
Slave trade was the Western powers were enjoying America and was enjoying slave trade. But the part of America says, look, let us stop this slave trade. Is that not the same people? Were they not making benefiting from slave trade? Well, they began to say, look.
But a time comes when you begin to want to.
Yes, you begin to see that. Look, we have gone beyond needing slaves. We have hit a revolution we have industrialized. Most of these things can be done with machines. If we continue to move Africans here,
we can continue this argument on and on.
I want to finish this.
All right, okay.
If we continue to bring Africans here and here, they will topple our population. So let us stop slave trade.
Okay, when slave trade stopped, you are aware there's neocolonialism. Yeah, and then you put in place systems like visa lottery.
Yeah.
Is it not the same thing, just in different cloaks?
Well, that's it. Visa lottery and people coming. The visa lottery.
But in any case, that's what Trump is against right now in some way.
No, it's not against the visa lottery. Even in his last regime, in his last regime, he said we are going to bring, we are going to allow only people who have substantial something to contribute to our economy. To come in.
Right. Okay, good. In which case, that then sustains my case that visa lottery or whatever, those kind of programs are still a form of slave trade, are still a form of drawing people from the poor nations.
We can call it brethren now. You're very correct. You're very correct, because at the end of the day, when you still go to America, most of these Africans are still third-class citizens.
And I think that is the basis on which even African nations should begin to look at this and say, okay, if this country is not even too willing to bring us in, we ought to also develop our own homesteads so that it can be better, and then maybe people from other places can get drawn to come to our place. By the way, countries like Nigeria really don't have any business getting into the kind of jackpot syndrome, brain drain that we are getting into if we manage our resources well, because
you've said it all.
Exactly.
That's where I was headed.
Because I think that's what we should be promoting right now. Because that, look, this guy is not saying he doesn't want you, but first of all, you must go through the right path.
Yes.
Now, they plan their things. They want to be able to plan for their economy. They want to be able to know the number of persons who are with them. They want to be able to profile them. They want to be able to see what you bring to the table and all that. So, I think that on the home level, governments must rise to the occasion and say, okay, this is the new standard, and so we are going to up our game, and we want to also challenge our citizens to please stay back, and together let's do the right thing and bring about the best of our own nation. I think that that's the appropriate reaction we should be putting in place.
And there's to buttress what you've said. If there is something they call no retreat, there's a no retreat, no surrender.
Yeah.
You burn the bridge behind you. It's most of this because of the existence of a weak alternative. That is why we are abandoning our country and jumping ship.
Exactly. So when we get to the point where there are no alternatives,
there's no alternative, we return.
Exactly.
And fight for the liberation of our people.
That's the same case that has been made by some people, some commentators, some analysts, some industry people, that the reason other sectors of the Nigerian economy are not developing is because we have the oil sector where you can just go there and pick money. So that's why the agric sector is not being properly developed, and so on and so forth.
Look at the medical sector. They say you go to hospital. They say a comedian was saying that you go to hospital in the morning, you receive a prescription.
Yeah.
When you come back the next day, the doctor that gave you the prescription has jackpot.
So he can't even follow up on you.
The other person is so you were. It
starts all over.
It starts all over again.
Yeah. So it's a complicated matter. Yeah. And if for me, I think that African countries should look at it as part of their problem being solved in some other way, in some unusual way. Yeah. Because if, having this bad feeling that there's somebody called Trump who has made immigration difficult for, I think that that's the wrong way to look at it. Yeah. And unless we begin to quickly embrace this new thinking, we will have a lot of issues. My dear viewers, I invite you now to call onto the show. The number is on the screen, 080-299-3365. I take that again, 080-299-38 and 3 and 6 and 5. Please, let's have your take as quickly as possible, and like I say all the time, let's follow the ground rules. Rule number 1, ensure that your TV set, the volume of your TV set is low. Move away from your TV set. That's ground rule number 2. Ground rule number 3, please put down the main points of your contribution so you can articulate it well and you don't have to ramble. Thank you very much. The first caller is here already. Let's see who he is. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, my name is Awusko and I'm calling from Kaduna.
All right, Awusko, how's Kaduna today?
Oh, Kaduna is cool and bright.
Great. Oh, great. Go on.
I want to congratulate Donald Trump for his great comeback.
All right.
In spite of all the obstacles created by his opponent, he was able to wiggle his way out, and today is the American president. We thank God for that.
Right.
I want Donald Trump to take a particular interest in Nigeria because proceeds of corruption from Nigeria is a bank in the United States. I want him to make sure that all this money stolen from our shores here are brought back to develop Nigeria, because Nigerians are suffering while in the midst of plenty. Now, millions of dollars that will transform Nigeria to a great country is resting in the vaults of banks in the United States. We want that money back soon, and it should effect that. I want him also to create peace in the Middle East. He should make sure peace returns, and he should make sure that those terrorists are put to work in law and their sponsor. And he must make sure that Iran's rascality is calm, because Iran is the sponsor of terrorism in the Middle East. They must be put to their places. I thank you. You are doing a great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Awusko. Yeah, so you heard him.
I think that's good. He has he concluded.
I knew he was speaking your.
He was speaking my mind.
Yeah. I knew he was.
Yeah.
And you were enjoying that
yes.
all the while.
He said it all.
All right. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, KAFTANTV.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
From Port Harcourt.
Harris.
Harris.
Yes.
Yes. Let's have your take.
I'm so happy to have our guest on this program. A seasoned analyst. God bless you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Harris.
In fact, I prayed for Trump to be president.
Oh, really? And now you have him as president.
I have him.
Yeah.
A whole lot of things will have to change. You know, Nigerians were of the opinion, Kamala. I was like, why do you need a Kamala? A Kamala who is worried about other countries and not worried about his own country. That is the way I'm thinking about Nigeria. We need a president to consider Nigeria first. Nigeria should be first. A lot is happening wrong. But Trump took passion in his own country. A man who says things going wrong, I say, no, it shouldn't be like this. This is how I want Nigerians to think. How do we fix this country? A whole lot is wrong. A leader who will take Nigeria as hard and say, we want to change things. I want our Nigerian government, from the very highest to our various citizens, to see Nigeria like this. This country has to be looked at. For Christ's sake, how much do you need to be a very happy man? How so much do you need to be a very happy man. Nigerian politicians have so much, and you have to ask yourself, how much does this man need to be happy? Nigeria needs to see this. We don't need so much to be happy.
Right.
We need to fix this country so that everybody can be happy.
Thank you, Harris. God bless Nigeria too, and God bless Port Harcourt, and bless Harris.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much. Yeah. So we want more of your calls right now, and in case you have maybe there's a point you don't like that my guest has made, maybe you can take him up, but of course let's do that respectfully. Let's do that knowing that we all are here to make the world better. There is nothing personal in this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the number remains 08029938365.
Yes.
You heard him, you heard the two of them.
So everybody.
So there are plenty of people who actually believe in Trump's cause.
Who have grown above the CNN effect.
Okay.
Yes, I'm happy. You know, one of the things, more than 10 years now, we have been struggling for Nigeria for us to break away from the yoke of CNN. You know, just sit down. If you go to offices, people are glued to propaganda. It's wrong. You know, it's wrong.
Wow. Now, so if it's so wrong, why is the world not seeing it?
You see, these things you've made up. You've said, you know, water ordinance, how Europe underdeveloped Africa. It's a joint slave trade. Why the slave trade go on for nearly 400 years? People, they felt it was good, and the media was talking it. Media is very, very critical
true.
In any situation.
True.
If you look at the French Revolution, it was also the media. And there's a man called Marat. He was propagandizing, pamphleteering, cartooning, saying things that were not true, and the French people were reading it, and then they suddenly got up and revolted. Yes, there was bread hunger, there was hunger in the land, but if nobody had stoked it, maybe it wouldn't have led to a revolution. There could have been a settlement somehow.
All right.
Yeah.
So you believe that some people are benefiting, and it's a huge business, and that's probably why not many people are raising eyebrows about it.
Yeah. It's like the George Floyd case. The Chibok's case was like George Floyd's case. So most of these people, when you are in power and they don't like you, and a situation there is a
comes
up, they take it, they spin it, they run it. Have you forgotten that Aisha Sese resigned because of that? Aisha Sese was sent by CNN. He went down to Chibok, sat down in our own land, and was calling our president clueless.
In our own land? In
our own country. And that thing annoyed me so much that at the end of after that news, broke, after that visit, that special visit to Nigeria, I mean, this day gave her this social a pull-out on Aisha Sese. Somebody came from America, sat down in Nigeria about the Chibok, called our president clueless, and your president then, Obama, refused to sell arms to us to prosecute the war, and we were praising her. So this is how propaganda works. But after that, there was the Dapchi girls. What happened? Nothing. It wasn't even in the news. There was nothing like bring back our Dapchi girls.
So as far as you're concerned, there's a whole lot of politics involved in this. All right. Now, still talking about what to expect economically, both for America and the entire world. Do you see any positive signals?
Yes, of course. I mean, Trump is a business person.
Yeah.
And like I said, economically, it's already the impact is already being felt in America, and it's going to create jobs. I was also in Imo State government, briefly during Trump's administration,
Okay. At about the time.
At about the time I went to Imo State to join the Imo State government then.
Yeah.
And we set up what do you call it? A diaspora commission. We set up a diaspora agency in Imo State then. And when with this diaspora commission we set up in Imo State, what did we do? With the diaspora commission we set up in Imo State, money, in fact, Abike Dabiri visited Imo State government then. And Abike Dabiri said something. He said there was billions, over 10 to 17 billions were coming to Nigeria through in that period because there was job. If Nigerians are working, it means there will be job for America, for Nigerians in America. Yeah. And when there is job for Nigerians in America, what's going to happen? There'll be more remittance.
Exactly.
There'll be remittance.
That's true.
That's why you notice that in the last 4 years, the issue of diaspora fund was no longer an issue. Remittance came very low because there was no job.
All right, let's take this one.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon. How are you doing today?
We give God the glory. My name is Mazi Okorafo. I'm calling from Arutubo in Abia State.
Can you call the Mazi? All right, let's go now.
The return of Donald Trump, President Trump, is the best option for the world. In the sense that he made one statement. He said, as he's resuming African Day as President of America, that he's going to look into the Gaza is the Wahala.
The very first day in office.
And Ukraine and Russia. These are the two major things that worry the whole world. And because of these two major things worrying the whole world, it's affecting all the economy of all the people. Now look at many Nigerians that were in Ukraine. Where are they now? Many students undergraduate. Can they go back? How many of them have been absorbed by other universities like this? You don't know. And no record. How many of them all their things that stay in Ukraine? Even some of them in Russia. Now, you see, as Trump is arriving, by the grace of God, is going to do the needful at state. The migration issue of the pocket. Now, people look at it as if it's very hard. No. If you look at the migration Trump is talking about, Trump wants everybody to stay in his country and her country and tell the government where it belongs. And they should do the needful so that you settle down, you not to leave their country and to rush to America. And you look at the issue of it, you see, Trump is a man to me. I'm sure that supposed not the man just because when you make a statement, he's going to feel it. You saw when America, the capital, when the Boko Haram attacked America, what happened? Within 48 hours, his Navy squad came. Nigerians don't even know how they move those people there. So he's going to do that, like he said, and like he told that all those captives that Palestine government are just that they should hold on. I should still want that American personnel will come to Gaza and get those people. If they want we are talking about them. Because I told them beyond my God, you won't be like this. And it's among the one who said he doesn't want this stuff killing innocent souls in the name of abortion. The name of that a man will come, you go there, they're going to do female. Female will come, you're married female. Men will come, without we have excess women looking for excess men. And you're going to convert the one. That's the person that do. I love that man because he's the only person that got Bible back to the state house. Take American record.
All right, Mazi, that will be all for today.
God bless you. Have a pleasant day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Yes, Mazi has said it. You see, peace comes through strength. Gaza war came because there was a weak man in the White House. Because Biden was weak. Simple. Look, can you imagine? Before, in Trump's first missionary journey, Syria was boiling. Iraq, that was ignited by Bush, was still on. And Libya was still boiling.
Yeah.
When this man came in, Obama tied the arms of the generals. Very weak policy of no boots on the ground. But he was giving arms to the Free Syrian Army. And those arms were finding their ways into the hands of terrorists. So what did he do? When Trump came in, he told the generals, I'm not going to tie your hand again. I believe you guys are intelligent enough. Go into your various battlefields. Anything that is needful, do it. And those generals now received the freedom and liberty. And before you knew it, they wrapped up the entire 4 wars that was brewing all over the world. Because they didn't care. And that was why, in the 4 years, there was peace in the world.
No, but is that not contrary to the general opinion? There's this general opinion, popular too, that every time there's a Republican in the White House, there are wars all over the world.
Excellent analysis. That is I told you that there is 2 Republicans. This man has changed the Republican Party. Then I told you the neocons. They are the hawks, the Dick Cheneys of this world.
Okay.
Dick Cheney, in fact, everybody knows that the warmonger in George Bush's administration was Dick Cheney. And there's a shifting, realignment. The warmongers in the Republican Party became the henchmen of the Democratic Party.
Okay.
Yes, that's what happened. But Trump comes, no. Republican Party does not need to be a warmongering party, but it can remain a party of nationalists. Let's be a party that believes in America, first. Simple. It changed, and that was why they hated him.
And one of the most beautiful things I love personally about Trump in all of this is his forthrightness. He wasn't doing any double speak. He was right on and saying, look, when I get into office, to the point where even details of the mutation of small children and all that he was going to institute a probe into whether the long-time effects were being covered up for people to make money and all that. I mean, to those detailed, exactly. So
that is RFK's problem. RFK that finally split from the Democratic Party and joined Trump. What was Robert Kennedy's genius problem? Is immunization. He discovered that most of this autism, the proliferation of autism among white children. Why is it? Why don't we have it in Africa? Why is it that almost the percentage of white children that have autism and Down syndrome is high? Then a study was now beginning to show that this thing started at the time of a particular immunization. That's why the pharmaceutical complex, those people that kill our children in Kano, there was a time immunization happened in Kano and everybody's trying to hide it. They said no, and these are the people that were they are the biggest sponsors of the Democratic Party, and there are those who are fighting. They make sure he didn't see his face in the primaries.
And even though that's not the talk for today, there's a whole lot that's still not transparent, even about all that happened during COVID. I mean, there are all kinds of suspicions that some of these things were...
How did COVID end?
Exactly.
Nobody knew. Everyone knew when it started.
Yes.
Why did it end? Ukraine. Immediately something came up, they quickly manipulated the whole news. It died off. So suddenly,
and yet, even as we speak, there are funds that have moved from all kinds of places that have not been properly accounted for. But
these are the AIDS we're talking about.
Okay. The AIDS that never gets to.
The common man does not see those AIDS. They don't see the AIDS.
Well, I expect you to make your own contribution. Let's build Nigeria together. Yes. Let's have your call quickly. We're going to close, very shortly. Yeah. This program will be over. And I think that you have a part to play, and it's just a call away. 080-299-38 and 365. Let's do it now. So, I must give it to him, the fact that he comes out straight, he comes out very plain. He's not the average, he's not the run-of-the-mill politician.
Yes.
And I think that we must begin to give space to those kind of people. I also know someone in this terrain, incidentally, he has something to do with this, but he's the presidential candidate of the SDP. He's been making some very or in the last elections, he's been making some very categorical statements. He said he was, I think, the only person who said he wasn't going to remove subsidy, oil subsidy, fuel subsidy. I think it was in this same country. There are his interventions have been very clear-cut, very radical, and very, in a lot of cases, different from what you have generally on the streets. And so I think that we must allow such kind of persons have an opportunity to make a difference. We can't all be liars, everybody just speaking tongue-in-cheek and all that. It has become as if that's the insignia of being a politician.
And Trump, like you know, Trump is not a politician.
Yeah, ordinarily, he's a businessman.
Remember that at the time, Obama described Trump, that Trump is a model of the American dream. That was when Trump was in the Democratic.
We see these things everywhere.
What's her name?
The way when the judgment is in your favor, you say
this other lady that was Oprah. You are hearing about Trump saying, I will run except my country needs me. That was an interview between him. That was an Oprah interview.
Let's do this guy a favor, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello?
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. This is A.A. Combo. This is A.A. Combo, a retired senior officer of Nigerian Customs Service.
Good.
From ancient town of Vida in Niger State.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah.
I so much congratulate Donald Trump for his effort. That's why they wanted to kill him, but God said no. I pray to God I should be great like him. We solve our problem by consulting one another.
Yes.
For the sake of God, can American citizens treat their senior citizens the way Nigeria is treating their senior citizens?
Yes, that's another area.
Look at officers that retired in 2023 up to today. For almost 18 months, they could not send their gratuity and pension. And all over in the newspaper, in radio, the Secretary General signed for the pensioners. We love America, and we are copying democracy from America. If you read that book, How Europe Underdeveloped Africa by Walter Rodney, you learn many things. Even the Japan syndrome, we should be able to assist the doctors, and we assist ourselves. So our government should stop acts of corruption, and the corruption people that are agents, they want to sleep in. I'm telling you the gospel truth. EFCC and ICPC. We should read for these American people that we must make Nigeria the greatest country in Africa. I made AA Combo.
AA Combo. Thank you very much. Yeah, you made it here.
To pay the retiree. Controller General retired. Inspector General retired. They could not pay them. Why?
Well, your point's been well made, and I believe that somebody somewhere who needs to hear this has taken note of this, and let's hope for the best. Combo. Did you say combo?
We should copy good things from our colonial masters.
Yes, we need to leave it here now.
Technology.
AAK, we need to leave it here now so that some other person can also come. Yeah, combo.
For Niger State.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Murtala.
Okay. I love it.
Yes.
I love Nigeria.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Murtala Mohammed said something that Nigeria has come of age.
I love the president.
In the Angolan imbroglio. And Nigeria was supporting either MPLA or FNLA.
Okay.
Of is that Augustino Nato or Savimbi who was
the president? Was the leader?
They were the liberation, the liberation organizations, and it was the American president that called Murtala Mohammed. Said, look, Nigeria, Africa, America is interested either in MPLA. This man, Murtala Mohammed couldn't get it. So you are calling me to instruct me on what is happening in my backyard. So he went and made a broadcast. So a lot of these people are, so Murtala Mohammed came and made this broadcast. And he replied him that, look, Nigeria has come of age. Murtala said it. And that was when he became a marked man.
All right.
That telling America that they've come of age, that Nigeria has come of age. A lot of things happen. You see, talking about how you underdeveloped Africa. And that book that we should also go into read is, John Perkins, The Confessions of the Economic Hitman. This thing.
You're going to have your last line now in just 1 minute. Let's have it.
Well, you can't just wake up one day and become a bad man. All that have been said about Trump is mudslinging, framing, spinning, because the same Obama that said he was the epitome of the American dream, and what's happening?
Let's let this guy in. Hold your thoughts, please don't lose the train of your thoughts. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon. My name is Yusuf Audu. I'm calling from Adamawa State.
All right, you're welcome.
Yes. Thank you. In Nigeria today, it baffles me so much that
it's either of two things, my brother. It's either of two things: either that you're too close to your television, or that the volume is not low. I want you to adjust these two things, and then also see if you can be a little bit more audible. The world wants to hear you, and you have only 30 seconds.
Yes, I think this country needs to change in regards to what is going on now. There is so much hunger in the land, and we are challenging the federal government. We have so much ideas in regards to how this economic situation can be changed. And I will appreciate if you can get to Professor Kiki, sometimes this television that is very popular, to talk on this. And there are things that we can do locally here. We don't need to be dependent on America, Russia, or the rest. We need to do something by ourselves in our country, not depending on anybody from outside. And we have the solution within ourselves here. But so many people are being neglected. So that's why we are challenging the political class, the economic class, the industrial budget. We have solutions that we would like to present as a model, and we will get a lot of money. In Nigeria, you need not to go outside.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So in conclusion, let us look inward.
Yeah, that's what
Let us copy the American example.
Yeah.
Let us copy the Trump's America First example. Let's copy Trump's revolution in moral values of America. And let us forget about everything the smears on Trump. Trump is a great man. How to know a great man? Look at his family. He has the best set of children anybody can have. None of them is into drug. None of them is into prostitution. None of them is into anything. They have maintained a straight moral value. It cannot come except from a disciplined father. Everything they're saying about Trump is mere politics. Because I've said Obama said he was a great man. Oprah told him, it was one who persuaded him to go into politics. And then by the time he did that, suddenly she realized she's a black woman. And if anything we bring out as a woman and that is black, so every black man must throw their heart into it. It's not so. Let us stop all those race baiting and look at the world as common humanity, united by common values and common economic principles, and the need to make our countries great. And we can only do that by starting to look inward, like Trump has advocated. Thank you.
I think that Trump needs to have you on his team. It's on this note that we go today. Thank you for being there. Thank you, production team. Thank you, Nigerians. Thank you, every caller. God bless you. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you.